Welcome to Alter Ego Comics TV, the only show with all the right answers to your comic book queries. I'm Josh.
I'm Mark.
Yay, good job.
Thanks for joining us as we talk about the best comics in comic shops this week. And it is a great week. It is truly one of those weeks where I enjoyed everything that I read. And I think you're maybe in that camp?
Yeah. I just noticed that you got all the good books, but that's cool.
Oh, come on.
No, that's fine.
We just said all the books were good. Well,
they are all good.
But you just said I got the good books. Yeah. So it happens when you go off script. Then I have to lower my volume.
Good talk. Good talk.
So if you happen to join us, whether it's live or later on the replay, let us know that you're here. Type in the comments and let us know that you're watching.
Hi, Cruz.
And we're going to go ahead and get started. My pick of the week is The Dead Hand, #1 by Kyle Higgins and Stephen Mooney. This is published by Image Comics. This is a Cold War thriller that kind of takes place after the Cold War. And I've been waiting to talk about this book for weeks because I read the preview several weeks ago. I've actually read issue 2 as well. Ha ha ha. Perks of being a comic shop owner.
Whatever. I'm good.
Ain't gonna get rich, but get to read comics before everybody else. That's a good reason. This is a mix of James Bond and the Twilight Zone. That is the best way that I can describe it. It's about a U.S. CIA agent who is active during the Cold War, and what happens when the Cold War is over and you've been used to fighting for so long. You should hold that up so people can see it. I cannot really say much more about the book other than it is amazing. It is my pick of the week. It's got great artwork by Stephen Mooney. Kyle Higgins you may be familiar with from his work on the New 52 version of Nightwing. He's also the current writer of Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin, that is, Power Rangers. He's written several other things that we've really enjoyed, and I cannot recommend this book enough. Don't look to the back. It will spoil things. Not the back cover, but the book. The back of the book.
Also, don't see the 1989 John Travolta classic, The Experts.
Okay. So The Dead Hand is incredible. Did you read it?
I did. I liked it a lot.
All right. So you're up. I literally cannot tell you much more about the book other than Cold War thriller, James Bond meets Twilight Zone.
Yep. And it was very human.
Yes.
Like, a lot of it is about this specific agent and, like, yeah. Very good. It's like, I don't want to say it's about his family, but it's like you see stuff related to his history.
This is the best review ever.
Oh, it's a book where there's a reveal. It's M. Night Shyamalan and Ding Along. My pick of the week this week is Domino #1 by the fabulous Gail Simone. Probably somebody drew it, I would assume, but who cares?
We'll get to that. I thought the artwork was really good.
The artwork is really good.
The artist is David Baldeon. Look at that.
Good work,
Who wants
David.
a puppy?
There is a puppy.
Yeah.
So this is a solo series featuring Domino. Is this a mini or an ongoing?
This is an ongoing, I believe.
Yeah, ongoing at the moment. Gail Simone,
anything could happen.
Great writer. Long runs on Batgirl and Birds of Prey. Her independent book like Crosswind was really great recently.
Red Sonja.
Yeah, Red Sonja. I mean, I guess that's independent, but it's not.
It's a licensed character.
It's a licensed character. Yeah.
She made me care about Red Sonja.
She did, and that is.
She made you
she's
care
got
about
that
Red
new. There's a
Red
Red
Sonja
Tarzan coming out by Gail Simone. So this is a Domino book. Domino of X-Force fame and Cable's six-pack and other ridiculous 90s stuff with too many pouches. Is a character I don't care about at all, but Simone makes her relatable and interesting, and she puts her in a non-mercenary situation where you want to know what happens next. There's also a healthy amount of poking fun at the ridiculousness of her life and the X books, and lots of fun. Simone's always got a little bit of humor thrown in there in her superhero books. Is this her first stuff for Marvel?
She did Deadpool many years ago.
Many moons ago?
Yep.
Okay. But I loved it. Lots of fun, lots of intrigue, lots of unexpected adventure, and there's a puppy.
Yes.
Well, there's a dog. I don't know if it's actually a puppy, but it's little. It's probably a puppy.
Yeah, I don't care at all
about dogs.
About dogs, #1. Sorry. I don't dislike them. I just don't like them. If they're there, that's okay if they're nice dogs. Like Josh's dog, Star, is a nice dog. Pit bulls, maybe not.
Oh, that is racist as hell.
I don't know. I'm not talking about Pitbull the artist.
I'm saying that there's something wrong with the breed of dog. It's the owners
It's
and the raisins.
owners. I don't know. Okay, then I don't like Pitbull owners that are mean people.
There you go.
That are mean people. Why do you like mean people? So I don't care about dogs or Domino, but I read this book because Gail Simone is awesome, and was pleasantly surprised by it. I'm glad that I did. I enjoyed it as well. Again, Baldeon's artwork is excellent. Fits the book very well. Mm-hmm. I gotta give it up to Marvel. They are pulling some new artists from somewhere that are impressing me, and we'll get to that again a couple times here. My next book is Exiles, #1. That's right. Welcome back to the 90s. We've got a Domino book and an Exiles book.
Exiles wasn't the 90s. That was like the 2000s,
it was the late,
wasn't it?
Maybe late 90s. When did Judd Winnick do? Was that the early 2000s? I don't know. This is like the third or fourth Exiles book.
Well, this is the... But there was only one long running.
Yeah, and that was the one that Winnick did.
Right.
Okay. So this is written by... give me the book back. Sometimes Marvel puts both names.
It's Saladin Ahmed.
Yeah, Saladin Ahmed is the writer who wrote Black Bolt and something else that I liked. Oh, Abbott over at
Oh, yeah, Abbott's good.
And Javier Rodriguez is the penciler, and this was a lot of fun as well. So if you're not familiar with Exiles, and if you're old enough to remember the show Sliders, then that's a pretty fair comparison. You've got a group of heroes, in this case with Blink being the leader. Blink has always been kind of the linchpin of the Exiles, and she has to go kind of assemble a team of heroes from different universes and different time periods. It's primarily different universes.
Exiles #1 was 2001, by the way.
There we go. That feels like the 90s. She has to assemble a team of heroes to stave off the World Eater.
I think it's the Time Eater.
It's the Time Eater.
But...
I just gave it away. The Time Eater that eats time.
Who devours worlds?
And this team consists, at least in this issue, we get to see a couple of the members. Khan! Actually, Ms. Marvel goes just by Khan now, and she kind of looks like old Ricardo Montalban in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. I don't know if she was drawn that way on purpose, but hey, what the hell. And Iron Lad is the other team member, who is, I don't remember his name, but his actual name.
Oh, Richards. Nathan Richards.
Nathan Richards, yes. So apparently related to the Richards.
Yeah, it's complicated.
It's complicated, but
he's
what
a version
of
Kang the Conqueror,
yes.
who is like
Kang the Conqueror.
Reed Richards' grandfather, son, monkey, something.
So anyway, Iron Lad, Blink, and Khan are the ones who start out in this first issue. Ahmed does a great job of giving the history of Blink. I learned a lot about the character that I was not aware of before. I'm not, a diehard Blink fan, but I had enough to go on to really enjoy this series. I can't remember reading more than just a couple issues of any of the previous Exile series. It just wasn't for me, but a lot of people really enjoyed it, especially those that like the TV show Sliders. And this time, Ahmed throws in a healthy dose of Quantum Leap. Mm-hmm. So if you like time travel and multi-universe jumping and characters from all different makes, models, and time periods and universes, this is the book for you. Also have to tip the hat to Ahmed, including Iron Lad in this story, and referencing in the cliff notes or in the notes that he first appeared in Young Avengers by Alan Heinberg and Jim Chung. Yes. You can tell Josh really likes a book when he actually knows the artist on a book. So we highly recommend going out and finding a copy of Young Avengers.
And it's worth noting that this is not the same Iron Lad. It's an alternate reality version of Iron Lad.
Yeah. But anyway.
I mean, they're all alternate reality versions.
But Exiles
this is also the second version of Kamala Khan from the future we've gotten this month.
Because
we had her in Old Woman Laura, or whatever the all-new Wolverine story in the future is called.
Old Woman Loga.
Loga.
I think that's what it was last week.
Of the Hill people.
So this book worked really well. I was pleasantly surprised, and I think Exiles fans are going to dig it.
Next up for me, we've got Immortal Man. This is part of the new Age of Heroes, DC's line of exciting new characters coming out of the Dark Knight's Metal storyline. We'll say, why not? And our viewpoint character here is a young man who's plagued by visions of basically of Xavier's School for Youngsters if it was underground. He sees a place where people with special powers can come together, and it doesn't seem to be going well for them in his visions, and he's starting to have more side effects from the visions, kind of collapsing places. And it's written by who?
James Tynion.
James Tynion IV, who you may love on Detective Comics, which is also new this week and also awesome this week. Has been the whole run of Rebirth. With art by Jim Lee and someone Benjamin. I believe it's H. John Benjamin. Ryan Benjamin.
Yes.
So Jim Lee knows how to draw. He's currently co-publisher?
Yes.
Or what is his title at DC?
That is his
co-publisher. Go Jim. So this is awesome. I really enjoyed it. The connection to Metal is a little more solid than in a couple of the other new Heroes books. We do see some characters from Metal in a non-trivial fashion. And we get a bunch of new characters, including a whole team of Immortal Men with varying abilities and powers, we assume. We don't really learn too much about them in the first issue. And so is it confirmed that that's Vandal Savage?
I don't know.
There's some dude that looks like Vandal Savage who's implied to be immortal, so it could be
called
Savage.
Immortal Man.
Right. Well, Vandal Savage doesn't own the word immortal. Hey, Barry Electronics, or Jeff, or both.
And LaDonna and Cruz. We already said hi to Cruz, but we'll say hi again.
We'll say hi again.
So,
so Immortal Man was a lot of fun. Pretty artwork by Jim Lee. Cool, new, exciting team. I like... The DC Universe has a strong history of legacy heroes, which is awesome. I mean, some of my favorite heroes are legacy heroes. I'll always take another Robin. But it's nice to see a whole bunch of new characters from DC. And the other books like Sideways and Brimstone, they're bringing a new twist on it. And they're kind of plotting to get... I don't want to say plotting together, but like there are little sideways tiny elements that are appearing across multiples of them that's kind of doing some world building in a way that DC hasn't had to do or had the chance to do in a long time. So it's very very cool, fresh stuff.
It's fresh.
Yes, it's like a fresh start.
Yes. My final pick this week is Champions number 19, which is the first issue of an exciting new era. Hold that up so everyone can see. I feel like I need to show my shirt. People like Josh's shirts all the time. Want to see my shirt? There's my shirt. You've chosen wisely. From which movie? Mention it in the comments. All right, back to this. Champions number 1. Number 19. Sorry. For the first time. For the last time. New creative team. Jim Zub is the writer. And someone else is the artist. Sean. There it is. Izaksky. Yes.
Sean Zox?
Sean Izaksky. Izaksky is the artist, and man, the art is fantabulous in this issue. That means it's fantastic and fabulous. It is excellent. So the Champions are back together after a little bit of a break. They now have a new mobile headquarters, which is super cool, and the Unstoppable Wasp and Riri Williams, a.k.a. Ironheart, are now permanent team members. So they are all members of the Champions now. And they are going to fight evil wherever it occurs. They'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. The Champions will be there. It's just such a great book. It's made up of some of the best characters in Marvel right now. And these are newer characters. You're talking about legacy heroes. These are all legacy heroes, for the most part.
But they're also... Newer is relative. I mean, that version of Nova and Miles have been around for... I mean, God, Miles has been around for close to a decade, hasn't he?
It's been a while, yeah.
2009?
But this is great. If you want to read a book where you have... This is essentially the Avengers with the younger characters in the Marvel Universe, which sounds awesome to me.
Right?
Yeah. So, again, Jim Zub has taken over from Mark Waid on this, and I think he is definitely capable of steering the ship in the right direction. It's still one of my favorite books, month in, month out. But it's the first issue of an exciting new era, so you should pick it up if you haven't been reading Champions, despite our monthly pleas for you to read the Champions. Now's the time.
It is an easy chance to pick it up. It's
a fresh... I mean, you really don't have to know anything.
Yeah. I mean...
Just hit the ground running, and you can always go back and pick up previous volumes in graphic novel format or single issues or whatever, but we love us some Champions.
Miles' first appearance was 2011, so I'm overestimating a bit there.
Yes.
Also, if we're going to talk about Jim Zub, we need to talk about the announcement this week coming out of Oni and Dynamite. We've got Patrick Rothfuss, writer of Name of the Wind. If you haven't read it, read it. Best fantasy book in the past 10 years. Along with Rick and Morty and Dungeons and Dragons, all coming together in a comic book form, forming Voltron. Comic Voltron of nerdy, smart awesomeness. Written by Jim Zub. Or co-written by Jim Zub. I'm not sure how you have Rothfuss, who's a writer, and also Jim Zub, who's a writer, so we'll figure it out. They'll work together. Rothfuss will handle the verbs. Zub will handle the adjectives and pronouns. They'll flip a coin for gerunds. But yes, back onto comic books.
Well, it is a comic book.
It is a comic book.
It won't be out
but
until
it's not
August.
Here.
It's
it was
coming
just
in August.
announced. It'll be a while.
August, by the way. It's Rick and Morty meets Dungeons and Dragons. We can't add it to anybody's pull list yet, but come back next month or whenever we can add it for August.
Next up for me, we've got Brothers Dracul. This is from Aftershock, who does a lot of books that kind of fly under the radar. Words by Cullen Bunn, art by Mirko Kolak. And this is the story of the sons of the dragon, Vlad Dracul, and his brother Rico, probably, or Wally, maybe. Wally Dracul, I think it probably was. So this is a retelling of the Dracula mythos and from a new point of view with kind of a more human take. You see the boys before they've grown up, and Vlad has become the Impaler. I guess we jump around time a little bit. We see a snippet at the front where he's started the descent into murder. And we've got some sort of monster that looks kind of vampire-y. And it was a lot of fun. I had very limited expectations because Vlad the Impaler is super not interesting to me. But Cullen Bunn did a great job making the characters interesting, coming at it from an angle that was exciting, and I think it was cool. If you like books like what's the Pestilence or any of those kind of period vampire and monster zombie stories we've been getting lately, you'll like it. Unholy Grail? Is that what
Unholy Grail is, well, Unholy Grail is, but Unholy Grail is also Cullen Bunn.
Yeah.
And so is Dark Ark, if I'm not mistaken. So
it is.
He's got 3 books over at Aftershock, which are all horror books. So, yes, I enjoyed it as well. But I'm a sucker for Dracula stories, so yeah, I enjoyed it. Just a couple things that you should have on your radar this week. There is a new Robocop series out from Boom Studios, written by Brian Wood, who you may recall from some other books.
Northlanders, Black Road,
and other stuff. Oh, what's the
DMZ?
No, yeah, DMZ. But
wait, that was Brian Wood, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Brian Wood. But what was the one? What's the one with the mother who's the leader of the crime family or whatever?
Oh yeah, I don't know the name, but it's a name.
Jeff, you read this, don't you? If you're out there, chime in with that Brian Wood series that I'm drawing a complete blank on. Anyway, Brian Wood writes a new Robocop series, which is it's in Robocop continuity, and it takes place further down the road, where Robocop is kind of inactive and in hiding. And
is Kurtwood Smith in it?
He is not.
Time traveling or cloned Kurtwood Smith, maybe.
Yes, he did write Dark Horse Star Wars books, but
he did it was years. It was like 30 issues of Star Wars Dark Horse.
You're looking it up, aren't you?
I am.
Okay. So if you're interested in RoboCop or the RoboCop mythos, then you want to check out the new series from Boom and Brian Wood. Also, kind of the 800-pound gorilla of this week, in my opinion. 80 years of Superman. Oversized hardcover. This is kind of the prelude to the big anniversary celebration of Action Comics 1000, which hits comic shops next week. And this features kind of a who's who of Superman's past as far as writers and artists, features stories from the last 80 years, as well as a previously unpublished Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster story that was found in the trash, or that was found somewhere.
Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster Studios.
Yes, that's right. Even a guest appearance by John F. Kennedy. That's what it says right here. Yep. You get the first appearance of Superman, Supergirl, Brainiac, the Human Target, Zatara, the Fortress of Solitude, and Vigilante. An unpublished Superman story from 1945. Super, super cool stuff for this hardcover. And again, it all leads up to Action Comics number 1000, which will be out next week, and features all new content by some of the biggest names in comics today, including Tom King and some other people, Dan Jurgens, most importantly, Brian Michael Bendis, his first published DC Comics work, will be out next week.
I could not find that book you're talking about. Someone's Land, Briggs Land.
Briggs Land.
Was that Brian Wood?
I'm pretty sure.
Doesn't matter. Briggs Land's a good book. Also out this week, Star Wars 3, Thrawn, Blue Guy, Eyes. My favorite character,
Josh
probably.
may be having a stroke.
Yeah, I sometimes shout words when I get excited about aliens. Star Wars Thrawn's out. It's an adaptation of the novel, but it doesn't matter. It's still worth a read. And, of course, if you're going to talk about Action 1000, you need to talk about Captain America 700. The other red, white, and blue hero from the other side of the aisle has a anniversary issue where he has to fight to save the future, and I think that's Joe Camel on the cover. Oh, no, that's a dog. I was close. Written by Mark Waid, art by Chris Samney, and we get a backup featuring art by Jack Kirby with words from Mark Waid, which is kind of cool.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
So, yes.
I think
So
the story,
all
if you've been
sorts of awesome
following
stuff.
Captain America over the last several issues, where he was iced up again and reawakened in the not far off future, but 50 years from now or whenever it is. It's been a really good story, and they wrap it up very well in Captain America 700. And I thought the Kirby thing, it maybe, I'm not a huge Jack Kirby fan, so it was kind of nice to see his artwork kind of updated. They didn't update it, but the coloring and
Right, it looked
and on
up to
glossy
modern
paper,
quality.
and it's not the traditional newsprint Jack Kirby stuff. I really enjoyed it. Thought it was really solid. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. We didn't talk about some second issues that came out.
Gideon Falls.
Gideon Falls number 2 is top notch. That's Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino
Beautiful book.
from Image. Grab the first issue if you still can. I know it's sold out at the distributor level, but I think we still have some. Issue number 2 was great. Oblivion Song number 2 is out this week.
Super great from Robert Kirkman.
Other stuff, I'm drawing a blank on. Detective.
Lots of awesome stuff.
Yeah, all kinds of great stuff. So head out to your local comic shop.
If you're a fan of anthologies, there's a book called Shock out this week. Original to hardcover, has like the best list of writers and artists in any single volume I've seen in a long time. So check it out when you're in the shop.
That is
It's
by
great.
Aftershock, by the way.
Yep.
And yes, we should have mentioned that with Brothers Dracul. But it's an original graphic novel anthology from Aftershock featuring Neil Gaiman,
Brian
Bill
Azzarello.
Wellingham, Brian Azzarello,
Cullen Bunn.
a bunch of people.
It's
It's Charles Vess, all kinds of people. So there you have it. I want to thank everybody for tuning in again. LaDonna, Stormtrooper Jeff, regular Jeff, Barry's Electronics.
They're all just
Let's
Jeff.
see who we got here. Cruz. Yes, every version of Jeff is watching.
The multiverse of Jeffs.
My name is Jeff. Sorry, couldn't resist not doing that. So we'll be back next week to talk about Action Comics 1000, among other things. And make sure you have this on pre-order with your local comic shop. There are 10 different covers. We will have 9 of them. We're not getting the blank cover just because. And each cover is from a different decade and by a different artist, and they look phenomenal. I can't wait to crack that open. So thank you, as always, for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, please like, comment, and share so that we can get it in front of more people to find out which comics were the best this week. And until next time, Josh will sing us out.
Maybe I'll just get up and you have to do
Josh,
something now.
I don't have to do anything.
Oh, you're just
Let's
gonna
see if
stand
Josh can figure out how to turn this up. Boop.